Hello, my name is Miranda Morgan, and for this week one assignment, I have chosen to do a visual presentation with these Google Slides, and the topic is STEM education and what it takes to be a STEM educator. This first slide, I'm not going to actually have us watch the video just for time's sake, but it is a brief video that describes an overview of what the acronym for STEM stands for and its application in schools for audience members who might have not been familiar with STEM before. And then moving into my literature review section of this PowerPoint, I have decided to choose 3 standout quotes from each source that I've chosen to review, just to give a very shorthanded overview, I guess, of the most important standout pieces of information. So for this first source that I chose, the first quote says, "STEM intends to educate individuals who can produce, solve problems, conduct analysis, and are literate in the related disciplines. We need STEM to have qualified engineers, scholars, teachers, and society in general. In the long run, STEM will make important contributions to the development of our country." So this quote, and ultimately this source, was about teachers' perceptions of STEM. These teachers were selected for a study who've already been teaching for a minimum of 1 year up to 15 years, and there was a group of roughly 20 educators, I believe, that they conducted this study on. So this was one quote from one individual who is talking about why they believe STEM is important for our society. The next quote that stood out to me was, "The existing teachers have been educated through traditional methods and they're being closed to new things. Time can be another problem. Cost is an important barrier in considering the present state of education in our country. Moreover, our education program is not suitable for the integration of STEM." So as you can see, this was a more opposing quotation by this educator, because they were saying that even though, maybe they hold STEM of utmost importance in their classroom, they think a lot of teachers do not currently do so just because they are more traditional in their approaches and maybe they aren't knowledgeable on the content. And they're claiming that our current state of education in this country is not ultimately going to integrate STEM fully just for financial reasons. And then the last quote says, "The teachers believe that STEM education is needed to improve creativity, problem solving, inquiry, and technology utilization skills and developing positive attitudes towards these disciplines." So this was kind of a culminating thought at the end of the source that states that basically teachers do see the value of STEM education and the skills that it will inherently provide our students with. The scholarly journal I was just referencing shared findings that most educators see the value in teaching STEM and its connection to real-world applications, but that they feel the lack of proper training and education on the topics are significantly hindering the integration of STEM. And then other things to consider, if we look at these pictures I've included, are how people perceive women and girls in STEM. It's been a long problem that most of us are aware of, that females probably are not viewed as nearly as capable in STEM fields or just succeeding in STEM in general, but we know that is not the case. And sorry for the pause. And that is a topic I would love to delve deeper into. The next scholarly source that I chose to review was actually really interesting because it was a study conducted at Boise State University, where essentially school coordinators were saying that their school at the current state was not known as a STEM school, and that the students, when polled and surveyed, never said that Boise State stood out as a high achieving STEM school, but they wanted to change that. So the article basically was talking about how they wanted to foster a new, stronger sense of STEM identity at the school by improving their STEM programs. So these were some of the quotes that came out of that source. Developing a STEM identity has been a critical step towards cross-curricular integration and improvements in pedagogical development, structures, policies, and a sense of STEM community. Student-focused STEM faculty have begun collaborating with one another about student success, reading the student success literature, thinking about learning outcomes, and beginning to understand course design. A major lesson learned during the ESWI grant was therefore that we could not be a we versus them approach to student success, but rather there needed to be a shared mission. So all of these quotes and ultimately the whole article touched upon the fact that we cannot instill a sense of a STEM identity in our students until we do so as the educator. So this next slide I have kind of develops that thought as well. The overarching question is, am I capable? Fostering a strong STEM identity in our students starts with the teacher. By developing their own curiosity and problem-solving skills, teachers can model a growth mindset, encourage inquiry-based learning, and create an inclusive environment where all students see themselves as capable STEM thinkers. And then I found this diagram that does a great job of simplifying what STEM identity is. It's an overlap of recognition, competence, performance, and co-curricular engagement. The third and final scholarly journal I've reviewed is about a Ukrainian university that has adopted the STEM program and has created an action plan for their university and other universities to consider as well. The article speaks upon all of the necessary qualities and competencies that an educator must possess in order to become an effective STEM teacher and ultimately create individuals and your students who are confident in their STEM abilities. So the quotes I've chosen from this source are as follows. It is necessary to create an appropriate motivational background, stimulating their psychological readiness to learn, as well as forming an active and positive attitude to technology and professional activities based on existing knowledge and experience. It is impossible to implement interdisciplinarity until the teacher acquires a thorough knowledge of the disciplines in which the integration takes place. In the process of preparing teachers for the use of STEM technologies, it is necessary to ensure the appropriate social interaction in the professional environment. So what all of these are saying and what the rest of the article is really emphasizing is that teachers must be highly qualified to teach STEM in order to make it make sense to their students. So not only do they have to have some sort of STEM background themselves, they have to be open to collaboration with their peers. They must incorporate technology in their lessons and include social interactions. So then the next slide also highlights those main qualities. So the main circle just says inspiring teachers, and then it says a bunch of adjectives that describe what makes up an inspiring teacher, such as enthusiasm, innovative teaching, positive relationships, flexibility, all of those things. And you might be thinking, well, don't all teachers have these qualities? Well, maybe not, right? Because teachers can sometimes fall into their old habits or just be very traditional and conservative. However, I would like to think that new teachers coming freshly out of their credential preparation programs have these qualities, and teachers who are passionate about their career have these qualities. So what's stopping any teacher from being a STEM educator? Honestly, nothing. And I think that this is the main takeaway I've gotten from doing this assignment and just reflecting really on what it means to be a STEM educator. I think any passionate, qualified educator can and will be a good STEM educator with a positive mindset and collaboration. And then furthermore, this other short YouTube video that I found just quickly talks about some 10 essential skills for becoming a STEM educator. I'm not going to show the video once again just for time reasons, but it's a good watch and it's very quick. And then when we were asked to complete the STEM educator reflection for this assignment as well, I wanted to kind of culminate my thoughts on this as well. So the different topics we were asked to reflect on are collaboration, differentiation, knowledge, integration, engagement, and problem solving. And these are some of the questions I was asking myself as I reflected and tried to score myself really on my levels as a STEM educator currently. So have I asked for help? Have I attended STEM-related PD days? Have I been considering early finishers in my lessons? How can I best support my lower students? Am I confident with this material I have to teach? Have I practiced it myself? How can I assess students' science knowledge during history or math during writing? Am I creating fun, diverse lessons that allow for hands-on learning? And do my students enjoy STEM in my class? Do I scaffold assignments that require critical thinking and problem solving to build student confidence? These are all questions that were going through my head while I was scoring myself. And while I'd like to think that, of course, I do all of these things and, my lessons are always engaging and I always talk to my, teacher team and I always ask my admin for help and I always prepare, a higher assignment for my early finishers. That might be the case most of the time. However, it's not the truth all of the time. And that's my goal moving forward. And ultimately just to be the best version of myself so that way I can create the best version of my students as well. Thank you for listening to me and have a good day.